Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Untitled Chapter TV with me, as always, Stephen. How are you all? Interesting night tonight. I'm going to be honest, me and Lottie were talking off screen, and do you know what, part of me really isn't in the mood for this, although we're coming off the back of a win. There's some other stuff that has happened, and there's been a lot of conversation on Twitter and stuff today about certain things, which we are going to go into in a wee minute. Before we go into talking about the game, but it's kind of put a bit of a downer on what should have been a really good weekend. The fact that, you know, we finally got our first win of the season. We finally see a goal, and the women's team win as well. You know, the under-23s win. You know, all round it was a good weekend for Arsenal. And them lot up the road who won the title back in August lost their game as well. So, do you know what? We'll try and keep it as upbeat as we can, but there are some stuff we need to talk about. And as always, we need to hear you guys in the chat. We need to hear what your opinion is on all these matters as well. So with that said, we will play our intro and we'll get into it.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing. The first time it's happened.
Okay, so as I said, welcome back to Untitled Chapter TV. Tonight I am joined, as always, by the beautiful, the talented, and the very knowledgeable Lottie. How are you, Lottie?
I'm good, Stephen. I'm a bit of a downer of a weekend with other bits that have been going on, but I should be happy, right? But I'm just like, at the moment. But how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, apart from, as I say, the stuff that's been going on that we've had a quick chat about beforehand, and well, actually we've been talking about all day, and we're going to go into in a wee second. You know, we're coming off the back of a good weekend to be a Gooner. As I say, we win, they lose up the road. The women's team are on a roll, doing brilliant things. The under-23s are starting to pick up some points in their games. You know, so all in, good weekend. And for me, you know, my Chiefs won last night as well. Comeback win for them in the American football. So it's been a good weekend for me. I was pretty happy with it. But it's just, as I say, it's so frustrating that yet again, we're coming off the back of a good result. Not necessarily going to say a good performance, but certainly a good result. And we're left having to talk about other things. So, you know, that side of it's really disappointing. You may notice no G again tonight. He is just finalising up all his house move, and he apologises that he can't be with us. But he does plan on obviously getting back into the shows from probably Friday. I think will be our next one, which we'll do our preview for the Burnley game. And G has promised he will be back for that. So, let's read a few comments, and then we'll get cracking into some conversation about what we need to talk about. Antonio, hola everyone. We certainly made the Norwich match look a little like a title battle, huh? Yeah. Do you know what? It was a good result. The performance was better, but there's still more to come. Suarez, hello. It was really competitive than expected, but we got 3 points in the end, and that matters a lot. Absolutely. Lee Meadows, good evening, everyone. My first time here. Welcome, Lee. Thanks for joining us. Make sure and hit that subscribe button. And if everybody could just take a wee second and go down and hit that like button now. Let's get this up to 20 likes as quickly as we can. Georgina, evening all. Evening, Georgina. I hope that cough's feeling a little better. Antonio, this is going to be a good podcast. Hopefully it is. Lee, you'll love it. Joseph. Apologies, my computer's completely frozen there. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. I completely froze myself. And I was just like, oh, what's going on here? So
apologies, folks. I don't know what happened there. Where have I got to? Swaraj, hello Lee, you will love it here. I love the support we get. Sub sister Georgina. Hi Georgina. I don't think you need me to read these comments. You just have a conversation amongst yourselves. Weezy J, good evening everyone. Lee, been chatting with Lottie on Twitter. Happy to be here. David, hi everyone. Hope you're well. Hi David, how are you?
That's Gary. That's good. His name's Gary.
That's Gary.
Hi Gary.
Evening to you both. Evening Gary. Evening Joseph, Antonio and Swart from Georgina. Andy, my fellow banger man. Evening guys and girls. How are you Andy? Ryan, great to see you back once again Ryan. Evening everyone. Hope your wee doggy's doing well. Keith, isn't that? Yeah.
Yep.
Hi guys.
W.
Come on, you Gunners forever. Dubber Ducky,
Hey.
a Chiefs fan. Yes, I am for my sins. I am a Chiefs fan. Have been for a long, long time before we were successful. And you know what? I said it last night. I tweeted out Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs quarterback, is an Arsenal fan. So you know what? It's reason enough to support them. And it's not the LA Rams, so we're not supporting Cronky's mob. Big up Lottie and Stephen. Our midfield was brilliant without number 34. Love the MC Newton, Nelson and Conby together. Yep. And we'll get into that soon. Dubber Ducky froze. Yep, absolutely. I don't know. I know I've been having some problems with my Wi-Fi recently. I think it's because Sky have brought out a new package and they want to upgrade people to it, so they mess up their broadband. All clear over here. Lee, I was saying all week it was about the result. Good old 1-0 to the Arsenal. Stephen not paying his internet bill. Yeah, well, listen. Less said about that, the better. Mr. Sparks, 86, evening. And Matt, evening, everyone. Wow, that was just the comments. And we haven't even started. Guys, incredible. Thank you.
They're the reason we are. It's okay.
Yeah. Every week, you know, you guys are interacting more and more, and we absolutely love it. And it's the reason that these shows run on longer and longer than we actually planned to. But I need a drink. So,
especially after that.
Here we go. Get BT, far better broadband. Yeah, I'm trying to get in my contract with Sky. Burnley 1-0 up. FML. Fair enough. And Jamie, hello everyone. Hello, Jamie. Burnley are 1-0 up against Everton, isn't it? They're playing tonight.
Don't talk to me about that Everton game. My FPL this week was pants. I'm just going to get very annoyed. We'll save that for later. Just save that for later, not yet.
Yeah, we'll come into that later on. All right, so you were at the game on Saturday. Without going into what happened in the stand, tell us, how was your day?
Do you know what? I actually really enjoyed myself. I mean, we got to 12 pins about 12:30. We were there to about 2:30. Made my way round to the ground via Arsenal station. And then we got stopped by the stewards. No, you've got to wait here. And we stood there for about 10-15 minutes. And I'm like, obviously some of the other people were getting really restless. I was just happy to wait because they were trying to like filter the bridge for how many people were going through. And in the end, we all ended up walking past them. They couldn't do anything. There wasn't enough of them. I ended up getting into the game late. Was not impressed with that at all. Other than what else went on, I had a really good day. I mean, we went out after as well, so it was a good day. And I met Mr. Sparks, 1886, as well. Bumped into him in the pub. Funny enough.
So I believe, and well, do you know what? On that note, what we'll do, I think we'll do our fans' photos. So bear with me for a wee second, because for some reason, I had to do this as a PowerPoint, and when I do it, it seems to kick me off this screen, so I can't actually see what's going on. So bear with me. We shall make this work.
You're still on the screen, Stephen. That helps. Oh.
Right. So the minute you should see fans' photos, I think, yeah.
Yep, can see it. Can see you on the screen as well. So if that
Oh, you
helps.
can see me as
You're
well.
still here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't see myself because my main screen is completely different. So here we
Yep.
go.
Well, obviously, this is pre-match. It's me, Johnny, Warren, and also Jimbo. He's one of Warren's friends. I met him for the first time over the weekend when we all went. We were just quietly drinking. Even Johnny, I met him for the first time that weekend because he was with one of the other boys. So I was the only girl that weekend. I don't care because it was just all good fun. It was all good fun. This is James. This is Mr. Sparks 1886 for the people in the chat. He's always in there. It was really nice to meet him. He did actually tweet a picture of me beforehand. I was saying, oh, I wonder who this is. Didn't take a blind bit of notice of it because I didn't have a phone in my hand. But it was really good to meet him. We've now got a name to the face. Then we've got Warren, Jimbo, and Stu. They've been friends for, I think, 20 years plus. And they're really cool guys. I met two of them, obviously, for the first time again on match day. That was my seat after the Aubameyang goal. As you can see, our defenders are still trailing in. Yeah, that stand was absolutely electric. I loved it. And then we've got one of my favourites in the chat, Wheezy J. He did actually send me this as a video, but I had to screenshot it because I couldn't send it to you, Stephen. Couldn't download it off Twitter. But Wheezy J was at work at Sports Direct, I believe, and he was watching the game from there. Again, that's the ways. We've got Jay, we've got Warren, we've got Guna Grizz, we've got Weasel, Johnny, and Jimbo, and me, my short self in the middle. I got told I need to grow in the sunlight. So that was the highlight of my afternoon. As you can see, the little boy in the picture is not very happy to have his photo taken.
Does photosynthesis work on people?
I don't know. This is Jay and his best mate. Like, he's probably going to kill me, but I've forgotten his name. He was a really nice guy, though. Never met him before. Another new person to meet on match day, as you do. This was post-match. Obviously, me and that got Paul, who works in the Tolly and Big Red. Got Jay and got Warren as well. Oh, and we've got Antonio in that picture. I'm not sure who's the other guy. Stephen, do we know?
The other guy, this was a tweet sent to me. The eyeball test at what do you see? I think there's the username on Twitter. Not sure who it is. If you're in the chat, shout out and let us know. But thanks for sending your photo. And then one more, and this is our very own Keith. Mostly Arsenal. This was the picture he sent me after I sent him a link because he was complaining about having to listen to it in the radio. So I sent him a link for a stream so he was able to watch it on his Mac. To be honest with you, this was pretty much the same view I had because I was watching it on the exact same type of computer. So yeah, there you go.
Perfect. Keith, you need to get your head in there next time. Yeah, so that was everything. So guys, if you're watching the Burnley away game, get pictures in and we'll get you involved again. Yeah,
that's it. Make sure and keep sending those pictures in to us. We love seeing them. It's great to see you guys. And as I say, whether you're at the game or even if you're just watching at home, or in the pub or wherever it should be, send us your pics and let us see, how you're enjoying the game. All right, a couple of more comments. Jamie, missed the second half. Was live because I was getting shot in both hands at Airsoft. Tommy was so close to the perfect debut with that volley. Yeah. You know what Airsoft is, yes, Lolly?
Sorry?
Do you know what Airsoft is?
No idea. What is it? Is it a game that you play in Ireland? I have no idea.
Airsoft is effectively, it's like paintball, but with pellets.
Ooh.
So pellet guns.
Ouch.
Yeah, if you ever get the opportunity to play it, don't wear jeans. That would be my advice.
Do you know what? I won't play it at all. I won't wear it at all because I bruise like a peach. No chance. Yeah. I don't paintball, so.
we did it for my brother-in-law's stag do, and there must have been about 50 wee kids there playing as well, because it was on a Saturday afternoon, and it was open to everybody, and all these wee kids go every week. We played a game of Hunt the Stag, and the idea was he was sent in on his own, and then everybody else went in, and you could shoot him, and if he shot you and you got hit, you had to join his team. And we sent him in, and I stood up in front of everybody, all these kids, and said, "New rules, shoot him. If he shoots you, just shoot him back again." And we just pelted the absolute life out of him. And the best bit was he got married to obviously my sister about 3 days later, and he was wearing a kilt, and all you could see was the bruises all the way up his legs from the pellets. So yeah, good fun. Mr. Sparks, evening. Sky having major issues because they're bigger rubbers than the Crunkies. Keith, get BT better broadband. Matt, burn me one up. We got that. Hello, everyone, Joe. Some of these comments I think have come in twice just with whatever's happened. Everton were terrible in the first half. David, Bernier kicking off the park as usual, though. Was giving a wave.
That's Warren.
Yeah. Georgina, I live for all the meetup pics. They make me smile on match day. Yeah, and you know what, Georgina, we're looking forward to yours after
Georgina, next one. After the AFC Wimbledon G, we're going to get you in them. You're going to be a part of that show, whether you like it or not. I'm sorry, but it's got to be done.
Mr. Sparks, was lovely to see you too. Thought we're lucky. Third kit is the best kit. I don't know. I know you guys bought me the third kit, and much as I love it, I do. But I do still prefer the away kit.
Yeah, no, you do. But my argument is, you got the trainers. You can't have the trainers without the shirt. End of.
Well, this is true. This is it. Gary, evening, Gary. Good evening, Stephen and Lottie. Lucy J. Oh God, what did I look like in that picture? A handsome man.
It's awesome.
David, sorry again for no photos, man. Don't worry, David, no problem at all. Mr. Sparks 1-1 now. Like Spike, please the algorithm. Cracking header from Kane though. Townsend assist.
I need a grey assist, please. Someone let me know.
Burnley scares me. Probably the last match they will bring him down from Gary, and so keen for that from Georgina. Just a quick apology if anybody. Obviously, we started putting these shows out as podcasts on some of the platforms like Spotify, for example. If you are listening to this show back on Spotify, we apologize for obviously the fact that you can't see the pictures, but it gives you a reason to come and check the show out on YouTube when you've got a bit more time as well. And not Gray, he's on my bench. Right. So I think it's time we get into what we were saying before about the bit of the issue that's been going on. And we'll start off, for anybody that doesn't know, you had a bit of a situation on Saturday at the game. Do you want to share with us what happened?
Basically, the 3 tickets that Warren had picked up. Is one for me, one for his friend Jimbo. His mate Jimbo had me and him were originally meant to be sitting together in the clock end. But I turned around and said, no, I'll take the ticket that's on its own. You two haven't been to a game together in however many years. So I ended up in block 92 on my own in row 13. So sitting there watching the game, fine, talking to the guys in front of me, guys next to me, and the goal goes in. We're all happy celebrating, and then we hear Mike Dean wants to review the VAR. So we're all standing there just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then he gives it to us. And the guys behind me are talking about it. I said, I can't believe he's just given that to us, right? They went, oh yeah. And I thought, you know what? I'm not gonna converse with you. Turned my head round. Guy says under his breath, "Oh, ignore her. She don't know what she's talking about." Like, because I was on my own, I could not say anything. If I was with someone, I would have said something, because there's 3 of them and 1 of me. And I've spoke to several people. They said I've done the sensible thing. I've reported it to the 6777 number, in which they were for the racism, discrimination, everything that they've got is a safe service. You just take your seat number, your name, and what block and obviously what row you're in. And I just couldn't believe it. And I was sitting there thinking, I've been going to Arsenal for over 20 years. Yes, I was 8 years old 20 years ago. I don't care. But I've never had that. I genuinely never had that. And I literally was clock watching to get out of that ground because I didn't want to be there. That's the first time I've never wanted to be at an Arsenal game, regardless if we were losing. If we were losing, I'll sit there. I don't care. I will wait until that whistle goes. But that's the first time I've ever wanted to leave an Arsenal game because I didn't feel like I should be there because of what he said.
Obviously, I mean, I want to hear what you guys in the chat have to say about this, because for me...
Sorry, Steve, I've got to turn my camera off. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
No, that's okay. Sorry. Mute yourself if you need to, Lolly.
No, it's fine. I'm still here.
Do you know what? For me, when I heard about this, and I very, very conscious of the fact I haven't said anything publicly on Lollie's tweet about it, and I've said this before in the show that I don't discuss it or I don't make public comment on it. It's not because I don't back Lottie, and anybody that watches this show knows we 100% back Lottie, and we wouldn't have Lottie on this show if we didn't value her opinion. And the reason I've said nothing is because I wanted to talk about it more tonight. It's absolutely disgusting that anybody should be treated like that, let alone a female. And for you guys who watch this show, you know how good Lottie is. And I said it the other night, you know, I said that we were looking for someone to maybe do some reporting on the women's games and stuff. And Lottie had actually volunteered to do that whenever she first came onto the team. And I said no, that I didn't want her pigeonholed. And I didn't want people thinking that she was only here to talk about women's football, because her opinion on the men's game is every bit as valid as anybody else's. It's every bit as valid as mine. It's every bit as valid as G's. It's every bit as valid as any of you guys in the chat. It's every bit as valid as any other YouTube channel or content creator or reporter or anything. Lottie knows as much as anybody about this club, and it disgusts me that anybody should have to put up with that. And I know there's the whole her game too and stuff like that, and I'm not going to go into that, but this can't go on. And I would hope that if any of you guys were at a game and you heard someone being treated like that, no matter who it was, that you would speak up, you know, at the time, and back Lottie or back whoever it would be, because it can't go on. And it's sickening that in this day and age people are treated like that. And then it kind of led on to today. Well, actually last night there was a whole series of tweets that started, and it's gone on and on today, and it's really angered me. And I think it applies really well for this show, because we have a real international following on this show. I mean, I'm sitting here looking, and I know there's Gary, don't waste the tweet, sitting over in the States right now. Swarat over in India. Antonio over in America. You know, there's guys all over the world watch this show. And there's people on Twitter saying basically that if you don't go to Arsenal games, your opinion doesn't matter. And if you don't go to, I seen there was one person has commented saying that, you know, if you haven't been to an Arsenal game and you don't go to Arsenal games, you certainly shouldn't have a YouTube channel or any sort of social content, because your opinion isn't valid because you don't go to games. And that absolutely sickens me, because for me, you guys in this chat, whether you get regular games or whether you're on the other side of the world, or even if you're like me and you're only on the other side of an ocean and could fly to London, but don't get the games because of other reasons, it doesn't make us any less of a fan than someone who gets to go to every game. There are people who are privileged enough to be able to go to every game, and that's brilliant for them. But I can't afford that. And geographically, it's not within my remit to just go to every single game. And I've had opportunities to go to matches before that I've turned down, because I look at it and I go, well, it's the cost of the flights, it's the cost of accommodation, It's the cost of a match ticket. It's the cost of all my food and my travel in and out of London. For me to go to a match, it's hundreds of pounds, and I'm only going over one small ocean. And I look at that and I go, well, do you know what? For me to have the pleasure of going to watch an Arsenal game and spending hundreds of pounds, well, that's toys for my kids. That's, stuff for my family, for my house that I'm missing out on just because I want to go to a game. And then I start to feel selfish that I'm actually considering putting that ahead of my family. So, I don't know how you guys, I'm going to go through some of these comments in a minute because I'm seeing some of them, but it's just absolutely disgusting that there's people out there that think like that. And quite honestly, if there's anybody in this chat that feels like that, speak up now and have your say. But I'm quite happy if you decide to go and unfollow us. And because honestly, if people think they're better Arsenal fans just because they happen to get to go to every game because they're privileged enough to do that, I don't want to know you, quite frankly. And I'm sorry to have to say that. I'm being really calm right now. And Lottie will tell you, the mood I've been in today, I'm doing well to remain really calm because I'm not the sort of person that's going to come on and publicly kick off and shout and scream and get on that way. That's not me. But trust me, I'm not happy today with what I've read and some of the opinions I've seen. Lottie, do you want to say anything more before I start reading some of these comments out?
No, it's just I just can't reiterate what you just said. That you've been really calm from our conversations we've had today. I just don't know how you're so calm. Honestly, I don't.
The worst about it is one of these people that has said it actually is trying to sell their merchandise to Arsenal fans across the world. And as I said to Lottie, some of these fans that think that they're more entitled because they go to the games, they forget that without the overseas fans, Arsenal Football Club wouldn't be what it is. Because without, Antonio there buying his, genuine Arsenal tops at, a couple of $100 or whatever it is it's costing him, without Gary buying them, without me spending money on kits for me and my kids and my wife, and so without all the gunners around the world spending that money on merchandise and paying to watch the games on TV, Arsenal wouldn't get the TV deals. They wouldn't get the sponsorship deals.
Yeah,
we'd be another Man City.
We'd just be like Man City, big, supposedly big club, but not. The fan base is tiny.
Yeah,
they still don't fill their home games.
Yeah, I know that match day revenue makes up so much of our budget, and so much of our income, but that doesn't mean that the money spent by other fans doesn't count, because of course it does, because that match day revenue wouldn't come if those fans weren't there, because there wouldn't be a club. I'm sorry, but there wouldn't. The fans make the club, not just the local fans that go to the games. The fans all over the world make this club. We're supposed to be a family, a community. And I've never seen a time when a fan base, or our fan base, has been as divided as it is over the last year or two anyway, without stuff like this on top
for everybody.
Of it. It's our club.
As I said to you. Yeah. As I said to you earlier, Arsenal's for everyone. I don't understand why it's an issue. Do you know what I mean? I don't. Do you know what? You're in Ireland. We've got Antonio in the US, Suarez in India, and even Scott in Australia, for example. Don't care. They're Arsenal. I'm gonna talk to them. Family. End of. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. It's just ridiculous.
Speaking of which, I mean, there's Scott has just joined in the chat now, and I don't know much of this you've heard, Scott. But I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'd far rather sit and talk to you guys in the chat, and you guys all across the world, and that maybe aren't going to games. I'd far rather sit and have a conversation with you about the match than I would with any of these people that have that opinion. I really would. Okay, we'll read a few of these comments out. David, I would have defended you if I was there, Lottie. We know you would have, David. Georgina, this legit made me sad reading it on Saturday. Mr. Sparks, disgusting behaviour. David, it's so uncalled for. Don't want to hear any comments like that. Gary, sorry you had to go through that, Lottie. Matt, wish I was there. I would have torn him apart verbally. Keith, geezer wants a slap. It really is shocking and disgusting behaviour. Antonio, we need to capitalise on the opportunities we create and finish our scoring. It'll be another struggle, yeah. We'll come on to the game in a couple of minutes. Bless you, Lottie. Awful behaviour from Lee. You didn't deserve that at all, Lottie. Matt, Charlie.
Charlie's joined us.
Yeah. Stay strong, Lottie. David, 3-1 now. Okay. All the action in the second half. I'll take the credit for not watching the second half. Okay. Swara, so many disgusting people getting into the game and abusing fans. It's just awful and unacceptable. I won't call them fans and should be banned for life. Lots of strength to you, Lottie. No chance I'm staying quiet.
David won't stay quiet. Nope.
No. Wheezy J, seriously, that is unacceptable behaviour. There's just no need for that at all. We all here for you, Lottie. I mean, you can see straight away, Lottie. I mean, we've talked about this before, but you can see straight away how much the guys in the chat love you and how valued you are and your opinion is. Antonio, hashtag her game too. David, it was sad that people were laughing it off on my reply to Lottie.
Yeah, no, there was a few people. There was a few trolls on Twitter. I had one telling me to go and make a cup of tea. The other one telling me, "Oh, it's all right, dear. You can go and do this instead." And I've got to say, David was there for everything. There was a few others in the chat that just went and said, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, Lee, everyone has a right to an opinion, a social media channel, etc. Georgina, if you aren't from the area, apparently we aren't fans, as if where you live makes any difference. We all fell in love with the same club and we all matter. Absolutely. Mr. Sparks, that guy who said that your opinion doesn't matter, was from Amsterdam. There are too many keyboard warriors. Absolutely. Andy, it's only their opinion, Stephen. Ignore them. I did. You're 100% correct. Thank you, Andy. Wish I could get to Arsenal more often. I often work on the weekend. Burnley looking at party. I must break you, Drago. I think you should come off the bench. Yeah, well, we'll get on to the game in a wee minute. Stephen, you don't have to justify why it's not feasible to go to so many games. I'm privileged to have a season ticket, but it's no better for me than any other fan. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Joseph, you're both brilliant. Stephen and Lottie, these people on social media are sad people. What's wrong with them? I wish I knew. Football is an expensive thing now. People have priorities and cost of living goes up. So does football. I pick and choose when I go due to costs. Swara, what makes any sport beautiful is the international following for a particular club or national team. A fan can come from anywhere. Scott, morning guys. Strength to you, Lottie. COVID showed the importance of all fans. There was no match day revenue. It was all about all Gunners. Half the locals wouldn't be getting up at 2 a.m. Yeah, and that was another one that someone said that just because you get up at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. that it's not the same as getting up and traveling to a away match. It's like absolutely.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely the same thing.
You're supporting your team, and that's the main thing.
Exactly.
The fans that go to the odd games actually spend more than season ticket holders on match day. Yeah, more than likely because it's a treat.
No, definitely.
Because I mean, we've talked, and there is a possibility that I may get over in November for a game. And I don't want to say too much just because at the minute, if I do, we'll let you know, and we'll see about trying to get as many people meeting up as we can. But I know myself, and I've talked about this with my wife, that it's not just a case of the tickets and the travel and accommodation. It's the fact that I'll want to go into the match, into the armory and buy something just because it's not something I get to do every week. So I will go and spend money, and I'll buy souvenirs, and I'll buy a program, and I'll buy whatever else, because I want to remember that day. And there was, this kicked off because of a video, and I'm sure you've all seen it, of a fan going in, and I would say he's probably late 20s, early 30s, going into his first game.
First time.
And, you know, he videoed his own reaction. Somebody else was videoing at the same time. And it's like, do you know what? I will probably be exactly the same way going in. I will be in awe because it'll be the first time I'll be in the Emirates. And I don't care. And I'll share it with you guys if you just want to see it. I'm more than happy to do that.
Yes.
If you just
Even
want to
if we're
see
in
my
the same
reaction.
block. Stephen, if we're in the same block, I'll be filming it for you. Let's get that straight.
You know,
I will be filming it for you.
And I respect that guy a hell of a lot for putting that out there because, do you know what? It doesn't matter what age you are. That's a special moment in your life. I mean, I remember reading the story a couple of years ago, and it was an elderly gentleman, and there was a picture of him sitting in the stands crying, and he was asked why he was crying, and he says it was the first time he'd been a lifelong Arsenal supporter. He had brought his kids up as Arsenal supporters, but he'd never been able to afford to go to a match, and his sons had bought him his first ticket and took him to the match for the first time. And, you know, that was incredible. And I thought, like, there's a guy in his 70s or 80s, and it meant that much to him that he's sitting crying. You know, it shouldn't matter what age you are if you're going to a game for the first time. It's an emotion and a privilege to get to do that. And to have people look down on you, it's absolutely crazy. So, yeah, I mean, Mr. Sparks absolutely right. I think I spend about £200 a day anytime I go to footy. Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy amount of money. I feel the negativity that comes out from AFT is responsible for some of this behaviour. I'm not going to comment. I make it a point of not knocking other channels. I may not agree with some of the other channels and stuff, but I'll never knock them. The problem is no one's allowed an opinion nowadays. People forget that no opinion is wrong, but not everyone is going to agree with every opinion. Shout out both of you. Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, everybody's entitled to an opinion. Our fan base has really come to blows since Wenger the last couple of years at Arsenal, and I do blame AFTV for it. Okay, that was from Weezy J. My boys go to the way. Don't normally get that. They're everyone together. Come on, you Gunners. Scott, I'd rather travel to an away match and have a fun day full of the odd pint rather than getting up at 2 a.m. Well, you know. Yeah, fair enough, Scott. Sophie, evening Sophie, how are you? You guys are well. Joseph, I get quite bad stick on Twitter as well, just because I want better performances, people saying I'm not a real fan, etc. No, do you know what? I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and as I've always said, anybody's welcome on this channel. If your opinion is different from my opinion, if your opinion is different from Lottie's opinion, as long as you have a valid reason and can articulate that reason and tell us why, have a different opinion, because that's the beauty of this game, and that's the beauty of being a supporter. We can have different opinions, but as long as we can have a respect for each other's opinions, then that's fine. And it's why you never see us shouting and ranting and raving about things, because it's considered. Everything we do is considered. It's the reason we don't do post-match reactions, because we take our time, consider everything. Again, season ticket holders, or some at least, take it for granted. That's from Mr. Sparks. Yeah, absolutely. I think they do. I do think people see a lot of season ticket holders maybe don't realise what a privileged position they're in to be able to go to every game. Lee, I had the same reaction when I was there for the first time, the open training day before the Villa game. So I would be the same, even going to see a training session and seeing the players and stuff. You know, it's kind of a dream to be able to afford to be able to do it and to not have to worry about it. And the last game I went to cost me over £500 between flights, taxis, trains, ticket, hotel, and you've been a fan for 43 years. Yeah. And I mean, now that the COVID's lifted, Andy, I think, you know, you and me should, because Andy's from my hometown, we should maybe start watching some of these games down the pub together, mate. Enjoy a couple of pictures, you know, and send our pictures in, yeah. Joseph Clash was top Lottie, my favourite player from the past. And Mr. Sparks, I think they do realise, but it makes them elitist. Fair enough. So listen, I think, you know, we'll leave that there. Mr. Sparks, I generally have spare tickets too. Well, now we know who to talk to. And Andy, I'm on for that. Great. Okay, listen, it has annoyed me today. It really has. And as I said at the start, I hate the fact that we're coming off the back of our first win of the season, and this is what we're having to talk about. And it's not, we don't have to talk about it, but I want to talk about it at the same time, as well as not wanting to talk about it. But it's important to highlight these issues, and it's important that people know that this is going on. Because if people don't know, if Lottie hadn't put out there what happened to her, then people wouldn't have known, and nobody could take action, and nobody could be aware of it. And what we need to talk about it to be able to take action against it. And that's what I'm saying. It's sort of like my call for you guys, that if you're ever at the games and you see it happening, stand up for people. Don't let these people win. And I'm probably in a very privileged place to say that, in the sense that because of where I'm from, being from Northern Ireland, and having grown up in a country full of sectarianism and bigotry, and going to see, in the early days, if you went to see Northern Ireland, it was, if you went to see a Northern Ireland match, international match, it was a very difficult place to be if you were from a Catholic background. Nowadays, if you go to a Northern Ireland game and somebody in the stand tries to start any sort of bigoted comments, they will be ejected from the ground. And that's not by security. That's by the fans will tell them where to go. Because the fans don't accept it over here anymore. If you go to see a Northern Ireland International, it doesn't matter what community you come from. You're there to support Northern Ireland. And the fans don't put up with it. They will throw people out. They will tell them, shut up or you're gone. And that's the only way there can be, a way forward for us as a club. So if you're at the ground, speak up. Don't, because if you speak up, others around you will speak up too. And eventually it will start to go away. And that's what we need to do. So anyway, I feel like I've done an awful lot of talking over the last sort of 20 minutes or so about this, and I do kind of want to move on. But I'm glad, and thank you all for your comments and taking the time to listen to me and my little rant as such about it, and for sharing your thoughts. Where have we got to? Right, Scott, thanks for advertising that, Mr. Sparks. Haha, I'll let you know when I'm back in London town. Absolutely do. Andy giving me some clapping hands, and that was the idea, Scott, for Mr. Sparks. Brilliant. Right, so let's talk about some football and talk about Saturday. So obviously, as I say, you were there. You got to enjoy the game firsthand. And not that your opinion matters or my opinion matters, but we'll give them anyway. So
That's what we're here for.
Too much negativity in general nowadays, Stephen and Lottie. There absolutely is. Gary, Stephen and Lottie, it has to be said. Thanks for talking about it. No problem, Gary. And we're standing up. I'm trying to stand up for not only myself, but for you guys all around the world, as well as across the UK. Jamie, another man from near me, Rondon, come on, costing me points and chance for top 10.
Fantasy football's back again.
Yeah,
Ooh,
right.
Actually, no, Jamie has been doing pretty well. I will say that. I'm giving that.
So, Lottie.
Yeah, but we'll come to that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. So, Saturday, team news comes out. And we had obviously talked about it on Friday night, and you had given your prediction, and you got 10 of the 11 correct.
Yes, I did. I'm so pleased with myself.
Yeah, for anybody that didn't see the team, I'll run through it quickly. I have a graphic up here on screen, but obviously if you're listening back on a podcast, you'll not be able to see it. So we had Ramsdale in goal. We had our new right back, Tommy, at right back, funny enough. With Ben White, coming back in after his COVID absence, and Gabriel back after his injury in the middle, and then Tierney at left back. In the centre of the pitch, we had Sambi, and he was partnered by Ainsley Maitland-Niles, which I think was the one sort of surprise for everybody. Although we talked about it on Friday night, but obviously if Partey didn't start, he was probably going to be the only other option. And then we had Pepe, Odegaard in behind the forward, and Saka on the other wing, and then obviously Aubameyang up top. So how did you feel about the team when you seen the team news come out? Other than being really excited that you managed to guess 10 out of 11?
I was very excited because I texted you, didn't I? And you asked me what the hell I was talking about, because I was had a bit to drink by then. No, I was really excited. Obviously, 34 is nowhere near this team. I'm happy. My boy gets the start in the middle. And I was just really excited. I'm like, yes, we've got this, we're going to win it. End of. But yeah, no, I was just really pleased with that. I was surprised to see, obviously, Maitland-Niles is an absolute wild card. But then again, I'm kind of relieved because there's been games in the past where Partey's come back for 6 minutes and then he's injured straight away. So in a way, I'm just glad it was Maitland-Niles that started. Other than that, I was quite happy with it. That's our strongest, almost strongest 11, I think. Well,
yeah.
I don't know what you guys think in the chat, but I think that's one of our strongest 11s we've got now. We've got people back.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it pretty much is our strongest 11 bar Partey.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I was surprised at Maitland-Niles starting, and I think it threw up a lot of questions at the beginning as to what formation we would go. Because I think a lot of people sort of thought, well, Maitland-Niles starting would maybe go for the 5 at the back and have Tommy as a right-sided centre back. But yeah, I mean, it was very evident that we went for the 4-2-3-1, which obviously then switched up later on to a more 4-3-3 when Partey and Smith Rowe came on. But we'll talk about that in a minute. I mean, normally what we would do in these shows is we sort of run through all the incidents and stuff. There wasn't actually that many big talking points in the game. I mean, the first half for me, we started off pretty well. And I think, as I say, the team was right. The formation was right. And for 20 minutes, we had massively outplayed them. We were controlling the game in terms of, having possession of the ball. The problem was we weren't creating an awful lot. And, we had a couple of chances that, Aubameyang missed one or two, I think. And we just weren't creating enough. And it was a wee bit worrying. And we got about 20, 25 minutes in, and all of a sudden, you seen Norwich starting to get a little bit more control, starting to attack a little more, and they were getting a bit of joy with Max Aarons going down the right hand side, which we had highlighted on Friday night. That's where their trouble was going to come from, was Max Aarons making those runs, and it was going to be how Tierney dealt with him. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think Tierney had his best game. And I think he struggled a little bit with those runs, and I don't know what was going on. But he didn't seem to be quite at it for me. And I don't think Saka helped him, to be fair. I'm not saying Saka had a bad game, but it wasn't certainly one of his better games. And I think, if anything, we struggled a little down that left-hand side, and yet continually that was the side we attacked on. And yet I thought on the other side with Pepe and Tomiyasu, I thought Tomiyasu looked very bright. And obviously you were there and seen firsthand. I mean, what was your opinion on Tomiyasu?
Do you know what? I'm just so gutted he didn't get that goal. I'm gutted. That would have been the perfect start for him. I mean, he was everywhere.
Like, he looked. Half-time?
Sorry, say that again.
Are you referring to the volley just before halftime?
Yeah. Sorry, I do apologise. It was so close from where I was sitting. Obviously I wasn't too close. I was 13 rows back upstairs, but it looked like it was going in from the angle I was sitting at, because I was on the left-hand side of the tunnel upstairs, and it was just so unlucky. But every time he lost the ball, he was up and after it. I've noticed he's got a decent aerial presence from what I've seen. I'm hoping to see some more because we don't have any of that. He will jump for the balls, whereas Hector, he didn't jump. He just don't jump. Gee, I'm sorry, but he didn't jump. And he was just everywhere, and he was constantly screaming at Ben and anyone that was around him. Him and Martin Odegaard, constant communication, and it was just something I haven't seen in a very long time. We didn't see that at City. We didn't see that at Chelsea. I know he wasn't there for that, but I'm just talking about the team in general. But we did see it with up at the Hawthorns. So I'm hoping this guy's going to be a positive influence, and we can get the communication going, and they can get their act together for the rest of the season now. But I'm very excited that he's here.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's had really good start.
You're talking about early there. He made, I think it was 7 out of 8 aerial duels that he won, which, you know, was fantastic, because that's rightly as you say. And I think with Ben White, much as I like Ben White as a player and as a ball playing centre back, it is his one area of weakness. So when you consider then that, you know, if we're defending set pieces, to have someone like Tomiyasu there who can head the ball is going to give us that wee bit more authority with him and Gabriel. You know, and the nice thing as well is that Ben White can play right back. So in those situations when we're defending a set piece, if we're defending the corner or defending a free kick coming in, you can almost switch Tomiyasu into centre back, because he can play centre back, so that he's in the middle for the headed work.
I did actually see them do that twice. I don't know if the cameras were where you were, but they were switching places.
Right. Okay.
So
no, I didn't see that.
They were doing that. They were doing it because obviously the team were all down by a goal, but they were switching at the back, making sure things were covered. So it is possible.
Yeah. No, I didn't see that. That's just my uneducated, ill-informed, unwanted opinion. But yeah, I mean, to me that was kind of exactly what you could do with those two. And I think that, for me, that's a big plus. That they can do that, and then obviously naturally switch back out. It was also good to see that Tomiyasu was making some runs past Pepe. You know, he was overlapping him, which is something that Bellerin really, for some reason, there was a real disconnect between him and Pepe. They just couldn't play well together. I mean, it was the Leeds game last season where Pepe was sent off for the headbutt. Before he was sent off, there wasn't a single pass between Bellerin and Pepe. You know, so there was obviously a clear issue there between the two of them. So it's great to see that we've got someone now who can play the position, and he looks an exciting player, and he looks like someone who genuinely wants to be there. So, and it was nice to see that is essentially our first choice back four. So that was good. We'll come on to the goal in a wee minute, because, as I say, there wasn't a massive amount of talking points. But one player who really impressed me actually was Ramsdale. And we've talked about this before. And again, you have to take into account the quality of the opposition. He didn't have a massive amount to do in terms of shots to save and stuff. But anything he did, he seemed to do well. He seemed to do confidently. And you feel a lot more assured with him when the ball's coming to his feet. You know, he seems to have that bit more quality that Leno doesn't have with his feet. Whether he is now going to be number one or not, or whether we're going to see a bit of alternating, remains to be seen. But I think, for me, it was kind of evident by Arteta's comments afterwards when he said, we have two great keepers, but, basically Ramsdale offers something different. To me, I kind of think he was saying that, no, Ramsdale is now the number one. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I hold my hands up and freely admit I was one of the first to say I don't want Ramsdale. And we talked about this the other night. But you know what? He's really turning me around, and I'm really impressed with him so far.
No, definitely. I've got a really weird stat for you. I managed to get my Ramsdale piece up on my blog today. In the last 2 seasons, Leno has had 19 clean sheets. Guys in the chat, guess how many Ramsdale's had without going on to my blog. Just stick a number in the chat and I'll come back and I'll have a look at the answers and I'll tell you in a bit. But you'll be surprised. And don't forget, both teams he's played for in the last 2 seasons have been relegated. Have a think. You'll really like this one, Stephen. I really liked it. I was like shocked when I found it.
In terms of Gabriel and White, again, for me, they didn't have a massive amount to do, but anything they did do, that I think they did reasonably well. And I don't really recall sort of them being talked about much during the game. So that's usually a sign that, for central defenders, that's usually a sign that they're doing well, is that they're not being talked about. So yeah. I mean, overall impressions of the first half, what were you kind of feeling at half time there in the ground?
Well, I was happy with it. It was improved from what we've seen at the last 2 games. But obviously you had the grumbles. Oh, Pepe's doing this wrong. That everybody just seems to be on Pepe at the moment. I mean, I will say his ball control was absolute lax. Like it'd receive the ball and it'd just be bouncing off his feet, and I'm like, what are you doing? There was a lot more like the ball was a lot more up in the air in the first half as well, which was a bit unusual because normally we keep it on the ground. But most people say, oh no, they need to do this, need to do that. They just weren't happy. They expected better because it's Norwich. But this is the first time this season we've been basically full strength, almost bar party. So, do you know what? It was improved. I was happy. I can't ask for more apart from a goal at halftime.
Okay. Well, before we go into the second half, then we'll read a few of these comments. Where have we got to? Wow, so many of them. Charlie, first of all, the only one I got wrong was Ainsley Maitland-Niles. David, Tommy had a great debut, I think. Jamie, are you talking about Northern Ireland? Northern Ireland, neighbour of my aunt, Niall McGinn, captaining the team. Happy days. Mr. Sparks thought he was too excited. She got the team almost right.
I jumped the gun at the pub. That's why I was like, oh my god, look, I got it, James. And someone said, no, it's a predicted lineup from Sky, and I was like, so I got really excited, and then I got really annoyed because I was so close.
Mr. Sparks, the strongest 11 bar in party. As far as I love Tommy Asu's performance, he was just so wonderful to watch. Wish he had got the goal, and it could have been a dream start for him. Yeah. Definitely. Gary, I like the lineup. Can't wait for a similar lineup with Party. Hopefully before 34 returns. Sambi forever. Yeah, I mean, I really like Sambi. And do you know, I know exactly what you're saying, Gary. And it worries me that when 34 is back from suspension, that he's going to walk straight back into the team. If we win the next 2 games, well, certainly the next game against Burnley, not so much the one against the Dons, I'm not overly concerned about it. But as long, if we win the one against Burnley and Sambi has another good performance, I would be really, really annoyed if 34 walks back in. And it worries me that he will. Mr. Sparks, the big talking point was really the goal. Offside, not offside. Yeah, and we'll come on to that in a wee minute. Not offside when it mattered from David. It doesn't matter how you score as long as the ball goes in the net. What a scrappy goal. Keith, well impressed with Tommy. Gary, initially I thought was offside. Okay, well, we'll come on to that in a wee second, Gary. Mr. Sparks, yeah, not offside. I'm going to come back to these. The game was hit and miss. But they're really missing that creative midfield. Yeah. I just think they were nervous because we hadn't scored. Gary, we will take 3 points, but we were far from where we need to be to win consistently in the Premier League. Absolutely. Tommy Asu is going to be immense. Him and Tierney on the wings may need to play 3 centre-backs and let them fly. Gabriel is great in the air too. He is, yeah. That's what I'm saying, that, if you could Gabriel and Tommy Asu as, the 2 in the middle when you're defending set pieces and corners, and that, Ben White then drift back to the right side a little, and then once we get the ball out, let the two of them swap background, and Ben White goes back into the middle, and let Tomiyasu play on the right back position, then yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good option. Keith loves Ramsdale. Andy, his passion was off the scale. Ramsdale was really good with his feet when Pookie went in for the ball in that one incident. Yeah, I mean, that was great.
I love that. I love that.
Right, so a couple of guesses here for the clean sheets. We have
Okay.
Joseph with 21, Andy with 1, Antonio 19, Lee 20, Weezy J 22, Russ, evening Russ in the chat to give us some abuse and some stick, all good fun. Stephen, Arteta won't praise some players, and we know why. Sambi, I'm hoping Sambi has a great game in this next outing. Absolutely, me too. Pepe's first touch was poor and killed some attacks, but he will also make up for it. That's why he should always get 90 minutes, because you never know when. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The thing with Pepe, he can have an absolute stinker of a game, but then he can just turn it on for a couple of moments and score a worldie. Mr. Sparks, there's just no pleasing some people. They need a reason to complain. My two favourite Lottie comments on players number 34 and Hell Sideways.
Don't have to see them for a while, Joseph. We're good. I'm happy.
I'll also like to say that number 34 was mine. I started
Yeah, that is
mine
true.
movement.
That is true. I'm L Sideways.
Yeah, number 34 is my movement, and that it's a movement that's catching on across other channels as well. It's great.
Yeah, that's the best bit.
Yeah, I do like we're calling him number 34, and David's guessed 30. So tell us the answer then. How many clean sheets had he got?
So Ramsdale had 20 clean sheets in the last 2 seasons, and both of his teams got relegated. 20
So
clean sheets.
Lee
Lee Meadows
20.
got it right.
Correct.
I face
Well
handed
done,
it
Lee.
up. I gave it away there.
Round of
Yeah,
applause.
he had one more than I know. So
Charlie, I'm 22 and I genuinely think this is the worst Arsenal team of the modern era. We were playing Champions League with players like Frimpong and Bentner. Okay. I get the other teams have gotten better over time, but the fall of the quality of player we have recruited at times is alarming. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I get what you're saying, and I think certainly over the past few while, yeah, I think the recruitment has got much better. You know, and there isn't a single one of the players we signed that I'm against this summer. I think they're all good players. They're maybe not the ready-made stars that we wanted, but they're all young. They're all, they're all keen as anything to play, and they've all got good qualities, and they're all going to develop together as a unit, and that's a big thing. And we'll talk about that at the end of the sort of review about playing as a unit, but they have the potential, and we'll see how it goes over certainly the next few weeks anyway. Antonio loves seeing Ramsdale celebrate our goals, Arsenal supporter through and through. Yeah. And Lee celebrating his correct answer with a boom. All right, so we'll move into the second half then. And no subs or anything like that. Again, we sort of took control of the game and looked the better side, but without really threatening an awful lot. And it's funny, in the second half overall, I think we created something like 20 opportunities, and we only scored 1 goal. And I think
sorry, Stephen. I think I saw a stat. We had 30 shots, and only 9 were on target.
Yeah.
Like I just had a look after the game, and I thought, wow. But some of them were very close.
Yeah, I mean, the big turning point for me in the game was obviously the introduction of Partey and Smith Rowe coming on. And they came on for Tomiyasu and I'm trying to think who was the other one, Sambi. So obviously, despite Sambi had a good game, he came off. But what happened was we changed the formation at that point, and we went to what Arteta's been saying pretty much all along that he wants, which is the 4-3-3. So you had Ainsley Maitland-Niles dropped in the right back, and Partey essentially was that lone man in midfield with Smith Rowe and Odegaard sort of just playing ahead of him, as part of the sort of 3-man midfield, with then Saka, Aubameyang and Pepe up top. And all of a sudden, we did look more fluid. We looked more threatening. And that's when we really started to create all these chances. It's just a pity we couldn't have put a few more of them in the back of the net. But we did, for me, that was a massive turning point in this game in terms of our quality. And it was nice to see Partey back and playing that progressive, quick forward football. And we've talked about this before, obviously, in terms of the goalkeeper. And Ramsdale's so much quicker at his distribution. And when you've got Ramsdale distributing the ball quicker, you've got a back four that you're suddenly feeling a lot more confident with. And you've got Partey in the midfield who can distribute the ball and move it forward quicker. All of a sudden, the style of play, which has been very robotic and boring, you can see where it's going. You can see what Arteta's wanting to do. It's not there yet, but you can see what he has in his head. And you can see that now these are the players that potentially are going to be able to deliver that. And it'll be interesting to see how that goes over the next few weeks. But for me, that was the turning point of the game. What was your sort of thoughts on those subs?
Do you know what? At first, I'm sitting there thinking, why are we taking the right back off? Obviously, I just watching the game, just watching them all change over, and I was just wondering what he was actually doing in the first place. But after that, it definitely was the right call. We kind of just lit up, and all of a sudden, the stands were just making so much noise, just to push them on, and you could see them feeding off the energy. I know Aubameyang got the goal, but I will say throughout the game, his movement was so poor. But he got the goal, so he redeemed himself. And it's just a bit of a mad one, really. I don't know. Yeah, no, it definitely worked, and it wasn't. At points in the game, it did get really boring, and they're like, go forward, stop going sideways, not going backwards, and those changes made such a change within that whole team. It was actually nice to see.
Yeah. I do. I do genuinely see. I've tried as much as possible to defend Arteta in the past, and I know that I have been reactionary and at times gone, nope, that's it, Arteta out.
Yeah.
But I can now see. Yeah. I can now see what he's trying to do. That's okay. I can see what he's trying to do, and I can see with these players how he wants to play. And as I say, the fact that it was more entertaining and certainly there was a lot more forward and progressive play whenever these two came on and we moved to that 4-3-3. The concern is obviously putting the ball in the back of the net. But that will come, as the players start to learn to play together. And this is what I was going to talk about in terms of being a unit. This was the first time we've seen these players together. So, you go back to the Brentford game and you had Lacazette and Aubameyang missing. And whilst we can sit here and go, we were all kind of okay with it because we thought, well, Martinelli and Balogun will play. But it was evident that they weren't ready. So we did actually miss Aubameyang and Lacazette. You then had Ben White out with COVID, and we obviously haven't had Gabriel all season until now. We hadn't had Tomiyasu, hadn't come in, so we've been playing basically anybody who was fit enough to go on and play right back was getting a game as long as they weren't actually a natural right back. So there was so much upheaval, and we only had Odegaard. We didn't have Odegaard for the first two games of the season. And you can see now how these players are fitting in. So 5 of our 6 summer signings started that game, as well as Gabriel coming back in. So there all of a sudden is 6 changes, that haven't been there, and Partey to come back in as well. So there's potentially 7 changes from what we would have seen towards the end of last season in our starting 11. And that's massive. So hopefully we'll see now them playing. The more they get used to playing together, the better that and more free-flowing that football becomes. And the more fluid And then obviously it's a case of the players taking the chances, but the more chances they create, a law of averages states they're going to start and score. Once they start to score, the confidence starts to go up. And, quite often confidence is key, that if you have a bit of confidence, we joke about the diver down the road, but how many of Harry Kane's goals have been lucky goals? And it's because he has the confidence and he just happens to have been in the right place in the right time. You look at the World Cup where he finished top goal scorer. Yeah, I think like 3 of them were penalties. One of them went in off his backside. And,
I remember that one.
The other one was probably an own goal that he claimed anyway. But he's a player that plays on confidence. And Aubameyang's the same. If Aubameyang's confident and scoring, then he will naturally start to play better. So Aubameyang all of a sudden has 4 goals in 4 games this season.
Yep.
Okay, one of them is a hat-trick against West Brom, but it's still 4 goals in 4 games. And all of a sudden, we're starting to play a bit better football. So Burnley are going to be a different opposition, but there's no reason now to go into that game fearing the worst. I can confidently say I think we'll get a result out of that game. I think we'll win. I would have loved to have seen us win, and I said we would win 4-0 against Norwich. In hindsight, it was probably silly to think we would win 4-0. And I think we all think we deserve to win 4-0. But when you consider this is the first time that 11 had played together, actually coming out of it with a 1-0 win is pretty good. The goal itself then, and we'll talk about that. What was the sort of feelings in the crowd whenever it was being referred to VAR? Because watching it, you can see why they would say it was offside, but for me, the goalkeeper touched it before Aubameyang put it in the net, so it's not offside, because it was their player was the last to touch the ball.
Well, from where I was sitting, it was such a narrow angle. It was a question: is it on? Is it off? And obviously, like when a goal goes in, this thing just goes electric. As soon as you see VAR on one of them screens, it completely ruins the moment. I kind of hate VAR for that reason. And everyone's sitting there like, oh no, Matt Dean's there. He's not gonna give it to us because it's us. And it just kind of went silent. And then all of a sudden we were hearing from downstairs that he's given it. And it was such a relief because it got to the point where you could see that Max Aarons was getting tired. He couldn't keep up with Saka. He was pulling his shirt, pulling him to the floor. And that's where we were coming from. It was through Saka to get through to that goal. He made the main key pass to set up that goal. And they were getting tired. They were really getting tired, but I'm just glad we got it. I need to have a proper look at it, but from the angle I was sitting at, it was such a fine margin. Obviously, I can't see the keeper, and I said no. It looked onside from block 92.
Yeah, you guys in the chat that obviously were either at the game or watching on TV. Obviously, if we're watching on TV, our opinions don't count, but let's share them all anyway. This is going to be my joke of the night. What did you guys think? Was it offside? Was it onside? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It was given, and that's what matters. And as I say, sometimes it just takes something like that to turn the tide. Sometimes it takes a lucky goal or a controversial goal. It takes one going in off someone's backside. It can sometimes just take a fluke to turn a season around.
I think it's one of the main reasons I'm going to enjoy the Carabao Cup more this season is because there's no VAR till the semi-finals. Anything can happen. I'm excited to be going to the Wimbledon game. It's a cheap ticket, but there's no VAR. Anything can happen, and that's where the real debate will come in. Was it offside? Was it this? Was it that? And it's exciting. It's like a bit like normal football without all the technicalities. I'm very excited about that competition this year. Well, up until the semi-final, I'll be happy.
Okay. We'll read out some comments, guys. If you haven't done it already, drop a like on the video, please. We'd love to get up to sort of 25 likes by the end of the video. We did it on the last one on Friday night, which was great. And it all
really
helped.
wicked.
Yeah. It all helps towards the algorithm to get the content pushed out there to get more and more people joining in and getting involved with Cannon Chatter. Let's see. Obviously, we've lost Lee. He's had to go, as is Gary. Charlie, 30 shots, 6 on target and 1 goal, all about the win. Party and ESR made a difference when they came on. Yeah, absolutely. David, ESR really should have scored his chance. It was a good save.
Finishing boots.
Oh,
he needs to find his finishing boots. He's been banging on the door for a while. If he doesn't get it at Wimbledon, I would be annoyed. He's been banging on the door. That goal is coming, guys. I know it is. I feel it.
To be fair, I mean, there was a lot of debate today about, that, and I obviously know the incident you're talking about, which is the one that, the keeper saved. But it was a good save, and people complain now he should have picked out a pass to Pepe. But in actual fact, when you watch it back, he's almost level with Pepe when he actually receives the ball at his feet. So I have no issue with him driving on and taking the opportunity. Yes, Pepe's probably a better finisher, but I have no issue with Smith Rowe making the effort. It's just a pity he didn't place it just a little bit better, but it was a good save from the keeper. But it was good to see us. It was good to see us making those opportunities. That was the thing, and it was good to see because the crowd, you could hear it in the crowd that they had something to get excited about. Okay, the ball didn't go in, but all of a sudden you could hear a bit of buzz going on in the ground. The fans were really getting into it and really starting to enjoy what they were seeing in front of them for a few minutes. So I like the idea of ESR and Odegaard playing together. It gives us extra creativity. Yeah, I mean, I liked them playing together last season as well. So I get what you're saying. Keith, keep an eye out for this kid, Charlie Patino. Patino, or whatever he's called.
With Charlie Patino, stop putting the pressure on him. He's 17. We need to just back off on him and let him play his game. I mean, his hero was Santi Cazorla, and that kid can be better than him from what I've seen. But I think as fans, we need to back off a little bit on him. He's 17 years old. He doesn't need the pressure.
He's fantastic, though. I mean,
and
Keith's absolutely right. Keep an eye out for him because he is absolutely unbelievable. I seen the goal he scored the other day against United. I mean, he was leaving Phil Jones just sitting on his backside and stuff. He is going to be an absolutely phenomenal player. And we've done very well to get him. Let's see where we've got to. Antonio, like I said earlier, we must capitalise on the opportunities we create and our second chances. The quality is there, but the finishing must improve. Yeah, and I think I've said it before, Antonio, and you're absolutely right. But I've said before, it will come. The more we create the chances, the law of averages says we will score. And once you start to score, it becomes easier in the mind. Those niggling little doubts that maybe some players will have start to go away, and it becomes a lot more natural. And anybody who's played the game at any level will know that themselves, that, confidence is a big thing in any sport. You look at your girl Emma Raducanu winning the US Open on Saturday night. I mean, that was absolutely phenomenal. But that girl won 20 sets of tennis in a row over 10 games. She didn't drop a set of tennis. And that's confidence. She just had more and more confidence, and you could see it that she was just so confident in her own ability. And confidence breeds success. Mr. Sparks, I just remember Sensible Gunner talking on here. So everything after the substitutions. Yeah, I mean, everything that Angelo said was absolutely right. And to be honest with you, only for the fact it was the last minute, I was actually going to speak to Angelo and see if he'd come on tonight, but we will get him back on the show again soon because his analysis the other week on our transfer shows was absolutely spot on. So yeah, I'd love to get Angelo back on, and I know I'm going to be recording something with him hopefully later on this week. So I'll talk to him then about getting him back on the show again soon. But he also, to be fair, he was taking a bit of stick today as well about the overseas stuff, and which is absolutely ridiculous because someone was trying to have a go at him because he lives in Portland, Oregon, and doesn't go to matches. And it's like, hold up, Andrew grew up in the shadows of Highbury. You know, he went to Highbury. He watched the Emirates being built. He played at the JVC Centre. You know, Angelo knows Arsenal. And he is an Arsenal fan, and no one can doubt that. So, I mean, to be saying things like that, it's just crazy. Gary had got to go. Andy, dirty Burnley. Yeah, they are a dirty team, but I think we'll be all right against them. I think with players like Gabriel, I think White's got a bit of a...
Turf Moor, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
We're up at Turf. Don't like going up to Turf Moor. Been there
Yeah,
twice, never again.
Listen, I don't think Ramsdale's not the pushover Leno is. Tierney doesn't take crap off of anybody. Gabriel won't kick crap. Ben White, I think, has a nasty streak in him.
Yep,
Tommy Asu looks like a handful. You know, I don't think I'd want to be messing too much with Tommy Asu. Party and Sambi, again, you know, we're not the small little side of the past. You know, Saka, Pepe, and Aubameyang maybe. And I reckon Odegaard can probably handle himself if he needs to. So, yeah, dirty Burnley, bring it on. David Oba got himself back on side when the ball came to him. He was originally offside though. Okay. Joseph, I hope we win versus Burnley. I really do, because we usually draw there. David, enjoy it until the semis if we're still in it, Lottie. Not if United, City, Spurs, and Chelsea are in it. Fear nobody. Mike, the last touch was off Pepe and not the keeper. The ball went square, so not offside. Fair enough.
Okay.
Patino, a young lad, but so was Cesc. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'd like to see Charlie Patino play maybe against Wimbledon. You know,
I'd love that. I got second row seats downstairs.
Yeah,
I'd love that. Yep. I'm on the left-hand side of the tunnel again.
Hey, Lottie, just hope you know how much I admire your incredible football knowledge. You're amazing. Never forget that. Antonio, we've done that part of the show already. Stop giving her a big head. Suarez, I am in top 100 of the Canon Chatter fantasy football. I'm at 95. Or come on to fantasy football in a minute. I think Burnley may get the win, but we'll see my thoughts for the preview show. Excellent, David. Right, so Lottie, sum up your feelings after the match.
Oh, bar the other incident, I was happy. I was happy with it. It was the first win of the season. Got the 3 points. Got out the relegation zone. Happy days.
Okay.
Really.
Do you think that the win has helped this guy any, Mr. Arteta? It was clear, and I don't know if you've actually seen his post-match interviews, but the relief,
not yet.
Even getting, you know, you could see the emotion of the whole thing was getting to him. And I think he just the stress that's been going on, and that all of a sudden, I think, see the realization of what he's been trying to do start to happen, the evolution of the team. This is very much now is his team. You know, there was a lot of emotion from him. You could hear it in his voice after the game. And for me, where I was maybe edging towards the Arteta out on a permanent sort of basis, I know I'm terrible in that I've sort of flip-flopped a little in the reactionary sort of things, but for me, I can see now, you know, having talked to Angelo and what Angelo was saying and sort of getting the breakdown from him, I could see that happening on the pitch on Saturday when we went to the 4-3-3. And I'm excited to see how this unfolds. It may be in a few weeks' time that it has all gone absolutely peaked on. But I actually have some confidence going forward that this could work. that we could be seeing the start of the revolution and the start of the changes and the start of climbing up the table and maybe having some success as a club. So, yeah, I'm willing to give him a little bit more time and see how it unfolds. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no. Do you know what? I've been firmly on the fence with this, as I've always said on every show. But I know I had a couple of tweets out with the 34 extension. I said I wanted him out. I wanted them all out because I weren't happy. I wanted to sell him for pickled onion monster munch, but we won't go there. But yeah, I've always been firmly on the fence with him. I mean, I want him to do well. I liked him as a player at the time, and I'm in for the ride. I'm at that point where the whole I know I've said it before, but the whole council culture, it's annoying. Why does everything change is good, but is it also necessary to constantly have the in and outs, constantly arguing? I will never get involved in that conversation. It's just everybody has to be right, regardless of their opinion, and it gets a bit silly, and then people start insulting each other. But with Arteta, I'm behind him. If we're doing well, I'm behind him. If something goes wrong, I will be on the fence to see what his next move is. I'm not gonna get involved with the in or out conversation.
Yeah. Okay. All right, a couple more comments here then. Mr. Sparks, what's his real name? Sorry.
It's James.
James, sorry. James, I think it will have helped him personally a massive amount. Yeah, absolutely. You can see that as saying. Calvin, thanks for the show. Going back to YouTube on TV, so can't comment from there. No worries. As long as you keep watching, that's all that matters. James, I don't think it's still his team entirely, but definitely the best part of his team. Still think it's missing some ingredients. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. When I say it's his team, I do mean the majority of it now at this point is his team and the players that he wants. I think he probably still would have liked another winger and probably another central midfielder and a centre forward. You know, I still think he probably wants 3 more players to really make it his team. Because the only, Kearney wasn't his player, but he wants Tierney there. That's obvious. Ramsdale, Gabriel, White, Tomiyasu have all come in his watch. Sambi's come in. Party's come in. Saka was there already, but he's helped bring him through. So you've got Pepe. You've got Odegaard's come in as well. He's brought Smith Rowe through. So really, you've got Pepe and Aubameyang are the only 2 really. And he seems to like them, but whether he wants them there long term, I don't know. And the Arteta is only just getting his team, his style. No point being the sacking team. Give him the season. Yeah, the season, I don't know. I'm inclined to sort of stick with what I always said, which was Christmas. But I am interested to see how the next few weeks unfold. We start to see, hopefully more of this 4-3-3 formation coming in. Doesn't matter who the manager is. We've got to support Arsenal. If he goes, then we're in trouble because we ain't getting Conte. Doesn't matter who the manager is. And it's funny because we had this conversation with Kevin Campbell on Ryan's Mr. Arsenal 24-hour podcast-a-thon thing. And he was saying that it shouldn't matter who the manager is. If these players can't get up for playing for Arsenal, they shouldn't be at the club. So whether Arteta is the right person or not, it shouldn't matter in seeing the passion from the players. And that's what we've been missing for so long. And hopefully as the football starts to get a bit better, you'll start to see a bit more passion, a bit more caring from them. And players like Ramsdale embody passion. They really do. And Tomiyasu seems like someone who's going to be really passionate about the club. Ben White looks like someone who's really keen to be there. Gabriel has always sort of had that. Tierney has had it. So all of a sudden, there's 5 at the back that are really seem to care about the club and care about what's happening. And when was the last time we had 5 at the back that were like that? You know? And that was a pretty decent back 5 that we used to have back then. So I'm not saying they're going to hit those heights, but you never know. Joseph, I agree with you, Stephen, but I feel like when Arteta keep playing number 34, when he's not suspended, doesn't help his case or his cause. No, it doesn't. And that's the worry. On the fence, I'm afraid. No problem, Keith. It doesn't matter what you call me. I've always been called worse. All right, James. And Lacazette too. Keith, I'm not in or out when it comes to Arteta because of how it sparks such debate. All I know is that I'll keep supporting the club as best I can. Yeah. I'm all right. You know, the funny thing is, I'm okay with the debate over it. I really am. As long as people give valid reasons, I'll have a debate all day long with people over things in football.
Do you know what? It was trending within the first 45 minutes of the season. Arteta out. 45 minutes of pre-season.
Yeah.
It's just too much. Just some people live or thrive on the toxicity. I just don't know how to do it. Sorry.
No worries. James, Mr. Campbell is great, but very black and white. I like mostly what he says, but he does have his radical moments, yeah. He is very black and white, and I actually enjoyed that about him. I like the fact that he wasn't afraid to say it how it was about some of the things, which unfortunately sometimes you see with the ex-players are very standoffish when you ask them certain questions. So it was good to see. So I stay away from in-and-out conversation, but yeah, I'm up for crunky out conversation though. Yeah, we all are. So listen, that kind of wraps that up. Overall, as I say, I mean, for me, it was a better performance. It wasn't the performance we hoped for. You know, we were all wanting the sort of 3s, 4s, 5s. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm okay with it because the football got better. We started to see the formation of the team that Arteta wants. We can see now how he wants to play, and it can only improve. You know, that for me, that's how it is. It can only improve. So yeah, I'm good with it. I'm confident we're actually going to beat Burnley at the weekend. But obviously we'll talk about that on Friday night. Any last thoughts on the game before we move on?
No, you summed it up perfectly. I guess the right thing to say is we move to the next one. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, listen, we'll talk about fantasy football in a minute. Have you a bit of an update ready or anything on it, or?
Well, because the game at 4 ends tonight, and it should be updated about 10:30, 11 o'clock. I don't know what time it is now. The leaderboard update I'll give you on Friday, but I just thought I'd give everybody a heads up. Calvert-Lewin, if he is one of your strikers, get rid of him ASAP because he's out for 2-3 weeks. I've had a really bad week this week. I've had one striker. I had Antonio, who was my captain, sent off, and then DCL didn't play. So I haven't had a good week. How did you get on this week, Stephen?
I think I got.
Obviously, we obviously. Nice. Okay, that's the final score because there's obviously points and things and being added on tonight. But
yeah,
that's not bad.
It wasn't bad. I had
You're
I'd captain Van Dijk, and obviously he got a clean sheet.
Yeah, nice.
So that wasn't bad. I tell you, I need to take Calvert-Lewin out now because he's going to be out for 2 or 3 weeks. But I also I don't get what's happening at Leicester is why Samora isn't playing. Because I had put him in thinking he's going to be in that team. He's going to be brilliant in the Premier League. And he's not getting a game. I mean, he didn't even get on against City the other day. So, he's only earned me 2 points this season in the 4 games we're in. So I think I need to try and find a way to get him out.
Yeah, it's a bit like me with Smith Rowe. He's earned me 2 solid points every week. And because his price dropped, I don't want to lose money. I still got him on my team for that reason. But he's consistent, at least. But from what I've heard for the Southampton game, Antonio was baited. And that's why he got sent off.
Okay.
unfortunately.
Well, all right. So we'll do more of an update then on Friday night in terms of fantasy football. Couple of comments. James, the Cronky out isn't up for debate. It's not. We want Cronky out. And if you want to support the Cronky Out movement, Cannon Chatter Cronky Out t-shirts are available. If you look in the description of the video, there is a link in there. They are as cheap as we can possibly make them, because we're not trying to make money off them. We're just trying to get the message out that we support the Cronky Out movement. And they're actually quite a nice t-shirt. Martin from Gunforce Edits, who does all our graphics and stuff on here, the overlays and stuff like that, has done this up for us. And it's a pretty class Cronky Out logo on the back of the t-shirt. We want our Arsenal back in the front and Cronky Out in the back. So check it out, have a wee look at it and see what you think. Andy, good show, folks. Enjoyed that. No worries, Andy. Thank you. James told you should have used the wild card.
James,
And
I'm
he finished
saving
with
that for the
80
October
points.
break. Oh, very nice.
67 points for me. If it stays as it is, I hope for bonuses. That's my best week so far. Thanks to my free hit. And David, do you think we had to talk you into playing because you didn't want to play because you didn't want to be last? Hammering the
You
points
did better
there
than me this week.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Antonio. The wins can be as ugly as me as long as we win.
Oh, Antonio, stop talking nonsense.
I agree. Antonio, Antonio was a big letdown. So obviously Mikel Antonio, not our Antonio in the chat here. When he was sent off, I made a quick switch to Edward, who had a memorable debut against Spurs. Yeah, I mean that was class. Obviously, Hudson Edward comes on 6 minutes of the game and he scores 2 goals against Spurs. And there was people out there that didn't think he was good enough for the Premier League.
Exactly.
I've been saying for over a year that we should have signed him. And in actual fact, whenever I first set up Cannon Chatter Twitter page, I did a thread on the transfer window and who we should sign. And he was in that thread, as was Max Aarons, and this was a year ago. And I still stand behind. We should have signed Max Aarons. Much as I love Tommy Ashley now.
Yeah.
Max Aarons is going to be brilliant. And you can see
Sorry,
that the other
Steve, can
day.
I just touch on that comment? Could you just go back one? Sorry, I do apologise. With that one, in terms of Edward, obviously the Spurs game was on in the pub, and every time a yellow card, red card, or a goal went in, that place absolutely lit up. We were singing Vieira's name all the way to the ground and in the stands. I don't know if you guys at home heard it, but we were singing his name. And I think one of the funniest highlights I think I've seen is the Palace fans singing to the Spurs fans, Vieira's won more than you. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I was literally the highlight of my weekend. I'll try and find the video and I'll put it on my on Twitter so everyone can see. But it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Excellent.
Thing is, he's never lost to Spurs and he's not going to start now.
Absolutely not. James, Antonio only out for 1 game though.
I've benched him for now.
Okay. Lee, hi again, catching up. Really enjoyed being here. Good foundations made on Saturday. Great. And make sure that if you haven't done it already, you hit that subscribe button and hit the like button on the video as well. And come back and join us on all our shows. We're back on Friday night. Great show, guys. Thank you, James. Good luck having points left until then. David's still out of the top 100 though. Yeah, so am I. But I'm getting
might
there.
be falling out. I think I'm going to fall out. I dropped 30 spaces last night. I got all red arrows this week.
If anybody missed it on Friday night, do you want to let people know what the prizes are for fantasy football
so
at the end of the season?
Prizes for this year. We've got a plaque coming over to Stephen at the moment, and you'll also win a Come and Chat hoodie. It'll be a red one like mine, or you can have a nice blue one like Stephen. You'll also get a Cannon Chat mug. Stephen, have you got the mug with you? Sorry, just so you can all see, we've got a Cannon Chat mug. We've also, for the second prize runner-up, you will get a Cannon Chat t-shirt. And is it a mug, Stephen? Yep, and a mug. Yep. Sorry, guys, my mind went blank there. So make sure you play every week. Don't miss your deadlines, and let's fight for the top. We've still got another, I believe, 34 weeks till we get to the end of the season.
Absolutely. There's 34 games to go, so
34, and then we'll have a winner.
excellent.
And if you are playing the Fantasy Football League, make sure you're subscribed. Otherwise, you won't be eligible for prizes.
And we will have some other prizes during the season as well. We're just not going to tell you when, but we will do some spot prizes. We also don't know what they are yet, so we're not going to tell you what they are. If anybody hasn't seen this, and you're obviously on Twitter, make sure and go on to the Me and Cannon Chatter Twitter page and like and retweet this tweet to win a signed Thierry Henry boot. You've got to make sure you like and retweet the tweet, and make sure you're following obviously the Me and Cannon Chatter page and at the match day, who are our sponsor on the show. And Dan has very kindly provided this boot, which, as I say, what I said, it was about £250 he sells these for normally. So I mean, it's quite a.
I think it was the 350 mark. I know that his shirts go for 350. Yeah. It might be a bit more actually, because his shirts are 350.
Yeah. I'll have to double check it, but I mean, you're talking a few £100 worth of prize here. Getting a signed Thierry Henry boot. So make sure that if you haven't done already, you've gone in and liked, retweeted, and followed at the match day and at Cannon Chatter, because that's a really good prize, and I'm not allowed to win it, which isn't fair. But anyway, let's get some more comments. Where have we got to? There we go. Lee, I think I'm at 54 points on fantasy football. I didn't pick CR7.
I don't have him. I don't have him either.
Suarez got 58 points also without Ronaldo, but should have selected him. Yeah, it's one I said the other night. I kind of felt he might flop a little, but yeah, shows how much I know.
It was only Newcastle. Please don't be like Sky Sports and talk about him when you're supposed to be talking about it and Burnley.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've had to block Man United social media. I just don't want to see it anymore. It's a one-man team again. Let's face it.
Thank you, Cannon Chatter, Stephen and Lottie, for quite possibly the best show you've done. Much love and appreciation for you all. Antonio, thank you. That's a lovely thing to say. We really appreciate it. Right, I think that's we're coming to the end, really. For anybody that doesn't know, we have a subscriber challenge. We didn't hit the first part, but we still have plenty of time to hit the second and third parts. Do you want to share what that is?
Okay, so the bit everybody missed was we were meant to hit 500 subscribers by the time this season started, and Stephen was meant to bleach his hair, but he has officially got out of it. We will be thinking of something else for you to do for next season. At the moment, me and G are still, our challenges are still in the hat. G's officially ends on the 31st of December. If we hit 1,000 subscribers, he will bleach his hair and beard, but not his eyebrows, blonde. Obviously, at the moment, we're on 326. Is that right, Stephen?
I think it's about that, yeah.
Yeah, about 326. So, guys, please tell your friends, your families, members, get them subscribing. I really need another blonde on this channel. Come on, you can't leave me on my own. But for me, if we reach 2,000 by the start of next season, I will be getting a tattoo of Stephen and G's choice. I haven't seen the designs yet. They will be coming out soon, because I don't think I've got the patience to wait much longer to see what Stephen has up his sleeve. So for that, we need 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah. So please, if you haven't done so, make sure and hit that subscribe button, so we can get one step closer to G getting his hair bleached.
I've just remembered, There's someone else who's doing his own little challenge in this as well. Antonio over in Florida will be buying it. If we get to 1,000 by Christmas, he will be buying a Harry Kane England shirt. I haven't forgotten, though, no. If we hit 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, and there is also the small matter of G and his. If we win the next 8 games in a row, he will get the Arteta in tattoo.
Yep.
G, I know you're probably not watching, but if you are, 1 down, 7 to go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
I have a
If
feeling
anybody
he's not
has
going to be
any
happy
last
about that.
questions or comments you want us to talk about, or things you want to say, drop them in the chat now. While you're doing that, Lottie, will you run us through the socials?
Yeah, definitely. Sure. If you want to follow us on Facebook, go find your search bar. Just punch in Canon Chatter. Same on Instagram, but it's Canon_Chatter. If you want to follow our main account on Twitter, it's @CanonChatter. If you want to follow my wonderful co-host Stephen, it's @SBCanonChatter. If you want to follow G, who's not here tonight, who will be back on Friday, it's @GTalksArsenal. If you want to follow me, it's @Lottie_B. 2 D's, 2 I's, because somebody beat me to the normal spelling. Also, I've dropped 3 new blogs out today. I've finally got my player profile sorted out for Aaron Ramsdale. There's also, you get a chance to relive the Chelsea game as well as the Baggies game. If you want to go and have a read, feel free to have a look at lottieafc.blogspot.co.uk. I know I owe 3. They are in the works. They will be out very soon. Also, if you want to purchase any Canon Chatter t-shirts or hoodies, you can email info@canonchatter.com, or you can DM Stephen on Twitter, which is again @SBCanonChatter. Lastly, make sure you subscribe, turn the notifications button on, and hit that like button so you never miss a show, and you can always come and join us in the chat.
And also remember that if you've really enjoyed this show and you want to listen to it all again when you're out and about, if you're out walking your dog or you're down the gym or anything like that, you will be able to get it on Spotify from tomorrow, as well as some other podcast platforms. And I am working on getting us on the iTunes as well. I will hopefully have that sorted this week. We're also have a Discord server set up. I'm just still working on how it all works. And we'll announce that hopefully Friday night, because I know obviously a lot of you guys are keen to keep the chat going, even when we're not on the air. Just want to say thank you again to everybody who's been with us the whole show. And even if you haven't been with us the whole show, thank you for tuning in at any point during the show. We really appreciate it. And without you guys, we wouldn't do this. Well, we would. It just wouldn't be as much fun. And we wouldn't enjoy it quite as much as we do. It was an emotional start to the show tonight. But it was good. It all needed to be said. And it's great to know that you guys support Lottie. First and foremost, and it's great to see the love you have for her and her opinions. And I also really value the support that for the comments, for the things I was saying as well. It means a lot that obviously not all Arsenal fans are idiots. The vast majority are reasonable, clever, intelligent, sensible people like yourselves who value other supporters and don't make assumptions based on things like not going to games. All right, with that said, we'll read the last couple of comments out. Keith, great show as usual. Well done. Come on, you Gunners. Antonio with a lot of emoji faces.
Smiley faces. Probably because I told him it was nonsense. See, there you go.
She's right. James with 3 squares. Not quite sure why.
That's the iPhone emoji with all the little hearts around the head.
Ah, right, okay. Swear it's worth
Sorry,
it.
it came up on my screen. I can see it.
Up for this live stream. You guys are the best. Cheers to all in the chat window as well. Yeah, I mean, for Swear over in India, I think it's about 3 in the morning or so, 3-4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And the fact that you stay up
Swear it.
and
Have a
join
good sleep, mate.
Yeah. The fact you stay up and join in, it's absolutely fantastic, and we love the fact that you're here with us all the time. Lottie, any last words?
Just thank you for tuning in, guys. If you're watching this back as well, thank you for watching. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world.
Excellent, thank you. We will be back, as I say, on Friday night, and we may have something else during the week for you. So keep a wee eye out. Make sure, and as I say, get involved in that Twitter competition, but just keep a wee eye out. We may be dropping something else during the week. But if we are, we'll make sure and advertise it plenty before. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you Friday night.